Howdy there. I've just finished Requiem for Vengeance Episode 6, Convoy to Oblivion, and therefore the entire series. I got thoughts. I guess I'll start with the episode itself. Started super strong. Solari's delusions and hallucinations, all the guilt soldier ghosts, the dress turning into blood. Strong, super strong. In fact, every single one of her hallucinations in the series so far have been solid visually. Like, they look cool, they have meaning behind them, they flow really well. And then she wakes up from it onto the convoy because, whoops, Odessa's happening, Zeon's being forced off of Earth. At least most of them are. Taking whatever resource materials Mkuve managed to grab and skedaddling back up to space. I actually think this section, the Mad Dash, the HLVs, was really well composed. You know, a whole chaotic energy to it as the trucks are trying to weave in and out of enemy fire. Friendly mobile suits, tanks, fighters are trying to screen for them. Trying to push the enemy back any chance they can get to protect the HLV, so as many as they can get back up to space. HLV is a high-lift vehicle, by the way. Don't know if the show anywhere, like the original show, says that. But they're the big bulbous green dongly things that people shoot back to the stars with. Solari choosing to stay behind and fight to help secure the HLVs was fine. It's totally in line with her character and everything that she's been through the last couple eps. She's the last survivor of the Red Wolves now. She's lost her bite for revenge after, you know, meeting the pilot of the Gundam EX and figuring out she was a kid. Which is not unfortunately uncommon for this series. Anyone familiar with the history in universe around this time knows this is borked for Zeon anyway. The Federation's main push of early production gyms and everything they have, from tanks to bombers, whatever they can muster, is being pushed to this offensive to get Zeon back off the planet. The best they can do is stall for time. She joins up with that goof team to do exactly that. The action is still consistently good. Every time a goof custom is on screen, it's doing something cool. Whether it's grappling and attacking that gym with a ball cannon, or them charging at the firing line of assault gun tanks, and forming that crossfire to shred up their treads because their machine guns can't actually break through the gun tank armor, which is kind of cool to see. The Zaku 1 jumping on the roof, getting saved. It all comes to a head when the Gundam itself shows back up, instantly obliterating one of the goofs. And then for some reason not firing again, and instead just kind of walking up slowly as they have their conversation. It's kind of actually funny to see it in the background of some shots, just kind of standing there. I assume the pilot of the Gundam EX, which we don't actually get a name for, I don't believe, has a similar kind of affected mindset as Solari had, where it just really feels confused about the whole thing now. Meeting the enemy face to face has kind of put it in a weird headspace, which is probably why Captain Solari's pleading gets through to him so, I don't want to say easily, but it really does feel like the Gundam EX pilot is half-assing it at that point, which is fine. Even half-assing it, Solari's barely holding on with her Zaku. And after the HLV blows, after the wreckage falls, after the kid saves her life, pushes her out of the way of the wreckage that the Gundam can take if the Zaku can't, that's when the reality of war kicks in. The dude bro in the goof custom stabs the Gundam straight through the back because it's wide open. And that's to be expected. I can't really fault the guy. This is a monster that's killed maybe dozens of his friends, his lover of what I assume is the other goof. And he had an opening and he took it. I understand why Solari's mad. It really did seem like the kid was ready to, you know, step out and put this behind him. But then's the breaks. War is bad, and this is the message of the show, every one of these shows. I wouldn't expect much less from it. I think it is a little played. I think they probably could have done something a little more mold-breaking with it. But it was still well executed for what it was. The fact that Captain Solari decided to double down on everything instead of learning some kind of lesson and leaving war behind her instead joining Zeon Remnants, really shows what this kid's death has done to her. She still has her son at home. But instead of going back to him and being a mother, being a parent, stopping this war, she keeps on fighting for a cause that she knows is lost. But it just broke her so much that all she can do is throw herself back in the grinder, in Africa no less. Let's hope she's one of those remnants in the diamond mines that can surrender in 0083 and not one of the wackos of blue team that's wait all the way to 88. Overall, it stuck the landing. A pretty solid end to the show. I think the highlights are at the beginning and mid by far. Episode 1 a little shaky. 2 was absolutely killer. I've rewatched it 3 times already. I'm happy I watched this, and I would not be mad if there's more to come. I'll put my whole thoughts on the whole series in a separate video, but for now, be excellent to each other.